seeds are here, and after 10 weeks, the Ohio high school football playoffs have finally arrived. And Gameday Nation is the place to be. The band is back together. The boys are buzzing. Let's get it. Alongside the great Mike Jewell and Mike Robinson, I'm Yaw Bonsu. Mike Rob, you walked into here and you said one thing. It's time. It's time for the postseason. Simply put, what does it take to make it to late November?
You know, one of the things that it takes to make it to late November is grit, toughness, and fortitude.
By God, anything injury or adversity, we will overcome it. Swagger.
Let's get it. The playoffs are going to be so lit. Obviously, it begins tonight, but there is a new format that we have to inform you about. We talked about it all year long, but it's finally here. Instead of 16 teams per region, we have 12 teams per region, with the top 4 seeds getting first-round buys. And perhaps the most exciting part, the first 3 weeks will be hosted by the higher seed. 336 total playoff teams. We have 12 of them tonight. And guys, I gotta ask you, this new playoff format is designed to make for better matchups in the first round. Who's on upset alert tonight?
You know what? A lot of teams are on upset alert. You know, but you know what? It's set up to be a certain way. I'm definitely more of a fan of this game playing than having a 16 teams.
Yes.
I want to go back to 8.
Don't sleep on St. Iggy. This is a team, 1-9 record, but played a schedule that included 9 teams that made the postseason. Man, the playoffs are beginning, and it's already lit on Gameday Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. More football on the other side of the break. Ball bouncing off the hands of Aiden Soto, who forced the fumble earlier in the quarter. Meanwhile, end of the half here between St. Iggy and Perrysburg, 9-3. It's looking like St. Iggy's going for the field goal on 4th down.
All right.
And it is good. St. Iggy.
All right, you stopped it.
12-3 lead.
Ignatius, St. Ignatius.
St. Ignatius. Iggy for short, just Iggy.
St. Iggy.
No, just Iggy.
Just Iggy.
It's not St.
Iggy. Not St. Oh, yeah, just Iggy.
St. Ignatius.
St. Ignatius or just Iggy?
All right, I'm getting cultured here. It's Iggy, not St. Iggy. Nonetheless, Iggy leads Perrysburg 12-3 as the 12th seed here. Upset is brewing. You're watching Gameday Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. We'll be right back. But guys, I understand it's the postseason, we're throwing records away, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Perrysburg ended the regular season with a 35-3 loss to Whitmer. When you think about the emotional toll that takes on the Yellow Jackets heading into the postseason.
In the playoffs, now. Now.
But how are you seeing a loss like that factor into the way the Yellow Jackets performed in that first half?
No, they're playing better. Defensively, they're playing really good. They got that stop at the end of the half. This is okay. One thing you don't want to do at halftime is go in and panic in front of the kids.
Absolutely.
This is exactly where you want to be.
It's like they say things and then magically it just comes through. For the audience, we have monitors all over the studio, and one monitor just showed a rushing touchdown for Perrysburg right when they said, and we have it right here. So Iggy up 10-3. Yellow Jackets have the ball, 2nd and 6. Yellow Jackets driving into the red zone.
Look at Gherkin.
Gherkin working, get Gherkin working.
Gherkin work. He heard the challenge. Mike Rob.
And he responded. He rang the bell.
Alrighty, the band is going. In the costumes,
it's Forrest Gump.
You love it. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who the guy on the... Is that
Indiana Jones and Forrest Gump.
I think I saw Superman as well. So costumes are great. Welcome back to the desk. Mike Jewell, Mike Rob, I'm Yaw Bonsu. They are dressed as 2 of the best football analysts in all of Ohio, if you couldn't tell. So we have some upsets brewing, but Anthony Wayne, St. Francis, Central Catholic, taking care of business in convincing fashion. Mike Rob, you talked about what it takes to make a run into deep November. How are they showing what it takes tonight?
Well, you know what? Let's start with Central Catholic. With CCHS, you know, one thing that they're doing is they're winning in multiple phases. The first thing we know is that Ryan Brown defense is playing fast, aggressive, and they are shutting out this Ontario offense.
Preston Frizel, 2 touchdowns. Jerome Davis, the 5th, 2 touchdowns. But shifting gears to White House, Anthony Wayne up 28-7 over start in our game of the week. Mike Jewell, Cam Miller, a hat trick of touchdowns. How have you seen Cam Miller step up in the absence of Roman Morrison in recent weeks?
Well, he's gotten his chance. He's a senior, cares deeply about this team. So you got your blue chip players. Anthony Wayne is a lot healthier than I think some of us give them credit for.
Meanwhile, you talk about the trenches. St. Francis is taking it to Valley Forge, shutting it out so far, and the Knights getting it done on offense as well. When you have a freshman at quarterback, you don't know what's going to happen, especially when the lights are as bright as they are now. But Mike Robb, KJ Collins-Walker is answering the call for the Knights tonight.
Absolutely. You know, this is a game that they was expected to come in here and win, in my opinion.
The winner of St. Francis and Valley Forge will go on the road next week to take on 2-seeded Wadsworth.
They're good.
That team is 10-0. Look, I know we love football, but we also love pumpkins around here. And our studio pumpkin is presented by Ryan Roth with Ice Creations. It is beautiful.
Camera
Ice
5.
Creations, ice sculptures, sand sculptures, pumpkin cravings.
Call Ryan
all
right
of
now.
that, and carvings, and much more. Visit icecreation.net or call 419-599-0000. You're watching a spooky Halloween playoff edition of BCSN's Gameday Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better pumpkin?
Hello,
Or
Ryan.
window?
Hello, Ryan.
They're on the phone with Ryan
Make
already.
2.
Yes, sir. The band is getting lit, and we are too in the Media Center, brought to you by Stutzenberger College. Fast track your career and apply today at sctoday.edu. We have a lot of action going on, and that includes over in a highly contested potential upset of a game between Iggy and Perrysburg. Game is knotted up at 10. Perrysburg celebrated. Looks like the Yellow Jackets just made a huge play. We'll get a replay on that in a second, but
Big
Perrysburg-
interception right there.
Yep.
Brandon Badick.
Big interception for Perrysburg. Now the Yellow Jackets seem to have all the momentum. 2:23 left in the third quarter. We send it into Brad Woznicki and Jack Muhort. On the left side of your screen, 4th and 10 for Clyde. The Flyers electing to kick a field goal. We know how the kickers can be sometimes here in this area, so we'll see.
Anywhere.
Clyde
Anywhere, yes.
to tie the game up.
It's got distance.
Oh,
he hit the crossbar!
Yeah! Oh my goodness!
It bounced through!
Oh my goodness! Clyde ties this game up at 6 with 31 seconds
Living
to go.
right.
One kicker got it
Oh
done.
my goodness, look at this again.
Beautiful.
Kicker got it done.
Oh my. Oh my. All those timeouts, that's what it was building towards. By the way, if you care enough, Preston Frizel is doing Preston Frizel things. But that's besides the point. We have a tie game here. The playoffs, nothing like it. On the right side of your screen, Perrysburg taking a timeout after Ignatius scored. We'll see if Iggy elects to go for 2 with 14 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Is Iggy... All right, so Iggy's got...
the kicker out there.
The kicker's out there.
This is a huge.
What if it's a fake field goal, though?
Well, I think defensively,
PAT, I
I don't
should
think
say.
you go after it too hard because of that.
Yeah.
So I think you just sort of
Make sure you don't get drawn off side.
Or-
Don't
or-
go too
or don't
ambitious.
bite.
Don't bite or anything like that. All right, so we got another potential game-tying kick. Perhaps our second game maybe to go to overtime. The kick for Iggy is up.
All right.
Yeah.
And good. Standard 17-17.
Bonus football. Got some
We hate
bonus
to
ball.
do this. We hate to do this, but we have to. We got overtime, potentially, after this quick break. You're watching Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. We'll be right back. What a night of action. 2 overtime games. We have the Generals popping off like we've never seen before this season. But what is the biggest thing that is standing out tonight? When you look at the playoffs starting tonight, Mike Julie, you're up first.
Hey, Perrysburg coming out and playing with that toughness, that swagger. Hey, let's get a look at Anthony Wayne's start.
Yeah, Anthony Wayne start. Anthony Wayne already up 28-13. The Generals driving, looking to pad the lead a little bit, and the handoff, and nothing but green, non-turf grass by Jathan Volts, Mike Rob.
That's how you draw it on a chalkboard right there.
Yeah. Every play I've drawn up looked like that, just never executed that way.
We talked about the fact that Anthony Wayne's the type of team that's been banged up throughout the season. That doesn't really matter now. Why? Because the Anthony Wayne Generals are balling a big-time lead over start. How much confidence does that give you, Mike Robb, heading into next week when the Generals play in the second round?
Well, not so fast. It looks like Start just got back on the board.
Start
down
just
there.
scored another touchdown.
Yeah.
Again, wow.
You can't.
Stay
You
with the
can't.
game. It's the name of the game.
You can't fall asleep on the Start Spartans.
Good for them.
So another kick return, too.
Yeah, Jonah Tall on the kick return there. But you know what? If you're Anthony Wayne, you've been really inconsistent all season long. You've won some of the games you're supposed to win. You beat some teams you weren't supposed to beat. And then you also lose to some games like Clay that you weren't expecting to happen to you.
Fourth quarter between Anthony Wayne and Start. The Generals are up on the Spartans, 35-21. Cam Miller, 3 touchdowns for the Generals. You're watching Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. We'll be right back.
Double playoff version of the Big Play Breakdown. But Yaw, what you got for us?
Man, thank you guys so much for that. It gave me time to write my apology letter to Central Catholic
Oh,
for
there you
downing them
go.
earlier
Good.
this season. A 35-0 win over Ontario. Jerome Davis, the 5th, 2 touchdowns. He also picked off Ontario tonight. What a performance by him. We spoke to him post-game. Central Catholic, a huge 35-0 win over Ontario in the first round of the postseason. You heard Tim Clagg call it a statement win for the Fighting
2 or
Irish,
3
Mike
times.
Robb, but you guys didn't agree with that. Why?
Not at all. I mean, I don't think this is a statement win. I mean, you got to remember who we're talking about. You see their logo right there on the side of the screen. It's Central Catholic right there. This is a team that's perennial powerhouse.
Central Catholic will travel to 3rd-seeded Lexington next week. And here's a fun fact. No team has ever started 0-3 and went on to win a state title in the state of Ohio. We got more ball talk on the other side of the break. You're watching Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. A better way to a better window. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Game Day Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson. Mike Jewell, Mike Robinson. I'm Yaw Bonsu. One of the most thrilling games we've had all season. Perrysburg beating St. Ignatius 24-17 in overtime. The grit that the Yellow Jackets showed, Mike Jewell, especially after losing to Whitmer 35-3 last week. What does it tell you about the way this Perrysburg team is able to bounce back?
I think it should tell their fan base that these kids want it. You know, if there were any doubts after that Whitmer game, and the boo birds start to click in and some of the haters start to hate, these kids ground together. They had a great week of practice. You have to come out and play the way that they did.
And Mike Robb, Iggy 1-9 coming into this game,
Yeah.
but that Northeast style of football is something that Perrysburg hasn't seen all season long. But the way the Yellow Jackets were able to respond to that and pull out an overtime win, what did it tell you about Perrysburg?
You know, you learn a lot about this football team, the grit and the toughness. We talk about that all the time. In the playoffs, you want to be able to run the football. We saw that.
The defense was huge, led by Gianno Wakalski. We caught up with him post-game. We sat here a week ago when Perrysburg lost to Whitmer 35-3. The 32-point loss, the worst for the Yellow Jackets since being blanked by Anthony Wayne 33-0 in 2019. But Mike Jewell, that doesn't matter now. Next week, the Yellow Jackets have a chance to avenge that loss against Whitmer on the road. 4-seed versus the 5-seed, second round of the postseason. Why will next week be different for the Yellow Jackets?
Well, I mean, in the weird and wacky world of high school football, Week 10 now almost becomes an advantage for Perrysburg.
Yes.
There's that toughness and that nastiness and that I mean, we say it all the time. Everybody loves to win.
It's almost like Ohio State losing to Michigan last season and then coming back to win the entire thing and go on to obviously win the national championship. But looking ahead to next
let's say this, though.
Okay.
Not even jumping too far, but, I had to go back to my history books because I knew there was something there. This is what happened in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Whitmer and Perrysburg played. Perrysburg went to Whitmer, and they lost, and then they won in the playoffs. So we are seeing a little bit of something that happened a couple years ago, and a lot of players on this team was a part of that. So especially with only maybe those 15 seniors was a part of it as sophomores. But this is an opportunity for a rematch. So I'm thinking both of these teams are going to be looking at this match and saying, hey, let's not let that happen again, especially if you're Whitmer. But if you're Perrysburg, you're going in there and say, hey, let's not let what's happened to us earlier this season happen again. So this is another opportunity. I think it's going to be a big game.
Well, let's rebound off that real quick. How hard is it to beat a team twice in the same season?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, it's very tough. I mean, especially when they're comparable. You've seen what they've got. You know who they are. You've already got a game plan. You've already got a scouting, sheet together of what you're trying to do against this team.
You want to talk about the run game. So Perrysburg, Brady Maxwell, Liam Nowakowski going up against Joey Morales and Jamon Holmes. It's going to be a movie. But believe it or not, we still have a game going on tonight on Game Day Nation. It is Anthony Wayne and its Start. The Generals have a 21-point lead over the Spartans with under 2 minutes to go, but the game is still going on. But assuming the Generals are able to pull this one out, how impressive is it, Mike Jewell, considering everything Anthony Wayne has been through this season?
It's, taking care of business kind of game. Once they beat Finley, I think that Finley win was absolutely huge.
Welcome back to Gameday Nation. Mike Jewell, Mike Robinson. I'm Yaw Bonsu. St. Francis beating Valley Forge 33-7 to move on to face second-seeded Wadsworth next week, a team that is 10-0. The last time we saw the Knights on GDN, it was a 40-0 loss to Central Catholic. But Mike Jewell, the Knights seem to have bounced back both physically and mentally. How do you like St. Francis going into that big-time matchup in the second round next week?
When you face adversity like that at the second half of the season, a lot of times people start thinking, oh, draw up new things. No, if you do anything, you start throwing stuff out. You simplify. Just like the Arkansas coach, man. 48 minutes of hell. And that concept, that idea of getting things going and attacking, that's going to pay off.
Yeah.
And look, when we talk about BCSN area teams, we have a few teams with first-round buys. You have the Finleys, Napoleons, the Whitmers of the world. But for the most part, the teams we saw tonight eventually will have to go on the road if they want to win a state title. But if they want to pull off those road upsets, what is it going to take from all of these teams?
It's defense. I mean, Mike Robb said it. So it starts with defense and getting stops.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, it's defense and it's poise and it's coaching.
But we also talked about KJ Collins-Walker and his ability to use his legs. If he's able to get involved in the run game, Mike Jewell, how does that open up more things in the offense for the Knights?
Oh, it absolutely does. I mean, he's that extra weapon. I like Mike Robb said, don't overdo it. You know, I mean, Beal's got to be the dude, and Richardson has stepped up as well, and Houston has touches. But yeah, counter-type action, almost, you know, similar back 25 years ago. How many touches maybe you'd get your free or fullback?
Do you lean on the run more than the pass when it comes to the postseason? Anthony Wayne is probably an exception to the rule. Porter Brungart threw 5 TD passes today, but for all these teams going forward, we have a lot of area teams that are dominant running the ball. Should they rely on that going forward in the postseason, Mike Robb?
I think you just do whatever was best in your playbook. For that game there, you know, so that some teams that you're going to play against, they're really talented on the back half of their defense, and some teams are extremely good in the front side. So you got to be versatile enough to be able to pass when you want to pass the ball, but also run the ball.
And by the way, our studio pumpkin, once again, is presented by Ryan Roth with ice creations, ice sculptures, sand sculptures, pumpkin carvings, and it's leading to pumpkin cravings, if I do say so myself, and much more. I was going to say pumpkin spice. Visit icecreation.net or call 419-599-0000. You're watching the Halloween playoff edition, 6-7 of BCSN's Gameday Nation. That was so cringe. We'll be right back. And we're not done with Brandon yet. He's going to stick around. He'll be with us for Carnes' questions right after the break. You're watching Gameday Nation, presented by Renewal by Anderson, a better way to a better window. Stick around. Welcome back to Gameday Nation. I told Brandon, I'm like, did you get a haircut? And what did you tell me, Brandon?
I got all of them.
There you go. They got all the haircuts. All righty. Cards' questions, playoff edition.
Yes.
What you got, sir?
All right, we'll start with playoffs as we are in the middle of it.
Playoffs?
Playoffs.
You guys remember week 2? I brought up playoffs, and you guys were like, playoffs? It's too early. Now we're here.
Not too early now, is it?
Yes.
I want to know, bye weeks are brand new, right, here in the OHSAA playoffs. Is there an element of momentum for teams like Anthony Wayne that got a win tonight versus teams that sat at home and got a little bit of rest this week?
You don't know how the team's going to handle it. It's kind of unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fear the unknown.
Fear the unknown. But what we do know is that Perrysburg has all the momentum heading into next week. There is an element of it, absolutely. The Yellow Jackets have all of it.
So you had it in softball in the spring where Anthony Wayne could have had a bye in the first round of playoffs, and they said, no, we're going to play this first game. We're hot. We want to stay hot. So maybe there's an element of that too.
You low-key have it in soccer and volleyball too in districts.
Sure.
Anthony Wayne volleyball didn't really have to play a first round quote-unquote game in the districts, had a bye into the second round. So you kind of see it in soccer and volleyball, but it's different when you're playing for 10 straight weeks and then suddenly you wake up on a Friday night,
okay,
no game today.
So from a scientific angle,
The pigskin professor.
How about if me and Mike Robb take the top 4 seeds across the state of Ohio?
Thank you.
You guys can have all the teams that
I'll gladly be Central Catholic.
See who
great.
won.
All right, there you go. I'll gladly be Central Catholic.
You get
Gladly.
Central.
Okay.
I'm just here to ask questions, and I'm being assaulted.
We'll see how the 4 seeds do.
Hold on. For the rest,
Facing that adversity of a week off.
hold on.
Come on.
For the rest of the postseason,
Come on,
our area teams who got a bye: Napoleon, Finley, Whitmer.
Yeah.
Would you take them to
Liberty
go farther?
Liberty
Benton,
Center. Liberty
Margaretta. Would you take them to go farther? Or Central Catholic, who didn't get a bye?
No, you can't jump on the Central Catholic. You are disrespecting them for 11 weeks.
You say with St. John's over there. Where's St. John's at?
Time out.
Where's St. John's?
Time out.
I'll just fix my tie. I'm not even part of this anymore.
Mike Jewell just said They will be the teams with the bye, and we could take the teams that didn't get a bye.
Across the state of Ohio. Across the state of Ohio, yeah.
I'll still take Central Catholic. Come on.
And you can have Central Catholic.
Hey, you know.
Take them because you disrespect them for 11 weeks.
Next
This
question.
is why I'm here. Obviously, things are heating up in the studio. It's cold outside. Hey, you told me the next question. I'm going to ask the next question.
That's my bad.
Children. All right. It's obvious. You can see it, right? It's heating up here in the studio. These three guys below me are fired up, but it's cold outside. I can tell you because I was out at Liberty Benton and Anthony Wayne today. It's cold outside. Give me a tip or trick to stay warm. These teams have got to go out on Friday night next
Wait, hold on.
week.
I got you all right now. I'm from New York. You throw on the Timbs, the trench coat, hoodie on, jacket on. That's all you need. It's brick outside. That's what we would say. Put on the Timbs and a trench
Layers.
coat. You're
There
good
you
to
go.
go.
Mike Jewell?
Good to go.
And for the boys on the sideline, they know where to put their hands at to stay warm, right? So you just find different ways to get yourself going. But again, you want to stay warm, stay at home, watch us.
Wait, hold on. Where are the players supposed to put their hands?
All right, it's time to go to a break. This next is the Stauffenberger Media Center. Check out the podcast next Wednesday. We'll update all your brackets. Me, Justin, Mason. We'll be back after this break.
Perrysburg now gets a rematch with a Whitmer team that it lost to 35-3 a week ago. Perrysburg, the 5-seed, Whitmer, the 4-seed, Whitmer getting the first round bye. Panthers and Yellow Jackets next week over at Whitmer. Meanwhile, St. Francis will play Wadsworth. Central Catholic, a huge win tonight. Mike Jewell, Mike Robb, they're going to be sticking around for Gameday Nation Overtime, hosted by Mark Kuntz. It's only week 1 of the postseason. We got a long way to grow to crown state champions in December. But for now, we'll see you next week.